Gold is important, and that means that we've got 3 ways of earning this gold, which is why the fishing went. One way is all to do with basic jobs like being a blacksmith or woodcutter or a barman, or you can be an assassin, or you can be like a henchman.
Okay, so you got a bunch of different professions you can choose from?
That's right. Different professions, and you can go up levels in those professions, and there's little skill games in there, and a little bit like the fishing in a way, and you can get better at those, and you can be a master. You can be a master blacksmith.
Can you be a city guard, or is that not?
You can't be a city guard. That's one of the jobs we did have, is being a guard. Another job, this is another one that we had but we dropped, was being a bard. You could be a bard at one point. You could be a salesman at one point, but we dropped that. You could be a prostitute at one point, but we dropped that because it was too ridiculous. So we've ended up with these 5 jobs. So that's one way of earning money. Another way of earning money is to do with these mini games, pub games that we've got, which you can play either inside Fable. You can walk up to it in a pub and you can go and activate a pub game, or you can play them outside Fable and it's what's like arcade.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, I was reading about those mini games that are going to come out. So you can earn credit from these games and then transfer it onto the Fable 2.
That's exactly right.
But,
and the cool thing is those games are coming out before Fable 2 comes out.
Yeah.
So you can download them and you can play them and save up lots of gold.
So when are you going to actually be able to transfer this gold? Because you start off as a street boy, and so you can't really have a bunch of gold as you start off.
That is true. In fact, what you will find is that early on in the game, in that gypsy camp at the very, very start that you saw a little glimpse of, if you've done an Xbox Live Arcade game, someone will rush up to you and say, "Oh, I've got this for you," and inside this envelope is all your gold.
There you go. Just having a bunch of gold to give you an edge towards, being better in battle or whatever, or is that a separate thing?
This is interesting, because what does gold end up buying you?
Yeah.
Gold buys you, yes, it makes you better in battle because you can afford better weapons.
Yes.
Now, what I didn't tell you is in the demo is that all weapons in Fable are fully augmentable. So you can have a basic weapon, an iron sword, and then you can put augments in that sword, like to imbue it with power of fire or lightning or health regeneration, so you can craft your own weapons in there.
Yeah.
If you want to. Of course, gold will buy you that if you can find these augments. But gold doesn't enable you to buy any of these new abilities. So you can't. To buy new magic spells, that's experience. To buy this extra functionality of the buttons and to do counter moves and to do flourishes and to do that is all experience. So there's some things that gold does buy you, and lots of things that gold doesn't. And also remember what you can also buy with gold, which is super, super amazingly cool, is every single building that you see you can buy, and lots of those buildings have little stories attached to them, scripts. If you buy a castle, you may have to clear out the dungeon of Hobbs, and that's going to give you experience. So it's very interesting.
In Fable 1, that's what I focused on, and that's the kind of bug I found, was that if the household keepers had children, the children would occupy the house, and I wouldn't be able to buy it.
You wouldn't be able to buy it?
No, I wouldn't be.
No, that's probably
because the children were living in it, so we're still, and I can get rid of them.
I think we fixed all those bugs now, but there's some very interesting things you can do with the economy. It's very interesting now because I want you to feel what it's like to be rich. So we're going to have, we may have a competition for the first person in the world that ends up owning everything in Albion, because it's very difficult to own it. You need about 100 million golds to own every single building in Albion. And then when you own every single building, you are the emperor of Albion, and everybody will treat you very differently.
Yeah. So you said there's 3 ways of earning gold.
Yes, so the first way is through jobs.
Yeah.
The second way is through these pub games and live arcade games. And then the third way is, there's 4 ways actually. The third way is through property speculation and owning shops and investments. And, you can
renting out houses and stuff.
Renting out houses, you can do some crazily mad things. For example, you can buy a house, you can kill all the people, buy the house, buy some new furniture for the house, dress the house up, and
so it's worth more. Yeah,
it's worth more.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all pretty cool.
Yeah. So was there four ways for anybody?
The fourth one, interestingly, is a very interesting one, is when you're that henchman that you saw in there, you get gold every hour that you play as a henchman in someone else's world.
Oh.
You get 50 gold, and you go up levels as a henchman.
Mm-hmm.
You can be a level 1, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5 for henchman, and you get more gold depending on it. So it's almost like you're employed by the person that's there. So because we really want people to co-op together. So if there's a really good reason. So the nice thing is you're co-oping, helping one of your friends out, but you're also going up levels and earning gold and stuff.
So co-op sitting side by side is you can have 2 players. But what about on Xbox Live? Will there be more than 2 or?
I've been asked not to talk about that because they want to save that for a big announcement at E3.
Mm-hmm.
And that is probably one of my favourite features that is yet unannounced. Because there is, I'd love to tell you about it. You can imagine where I find, the fact I find it fascinating is good, but there is a surprise in co-op.
Okay, that's
something as a feature that you don't know about. I've never seen in any other games, and it's very cool.
Okay, so Xbox 360 doesn't have a built-in hard drive in every console.
Yeah.
What limitations does this cause to Fable 2?
Yeah, that's been really tough.
Yeah.
It's tough because there's certain sacrifices that we have to make about customization and the changing world that we kind of we could have used a hard disk for. It also means that you have to really think carefully about streaming and DVD layout.
Yeah.
So, but I'm happy with it. Given the choice, obviously I'd love to have a hard drive.
Are you planning on expanding the game through Xbox Live Marketplace downloads after the game's released? Or adding content or whatever?
I'm supposed to say anything about that. Probably not. You'd be yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's been...
I think what everybody's expecting that. Yeah. When I played Fable 1, and I just went on a murder spree and started killing everyone, the security guards just kept on spawning. Yeah. So I had a bunch of red dots on the mini-map. Yeah. Does that happen in Fable 2 as well?
The crime system's gone through a lot of changes and revolutions, and there's still a little bit of a crime system which I may prune out, which is called community service. So at the moment what happens with the crime system, if you commit a crime and someone raises an alarm, then all the existing city guards, depending where you are, the existing city guards will come and attack you. So if you're in Bowerstone, because it's a city, there's a lot of these city guards. If you're in a smaller region, like there's a region called Oak Ridge, which I'm going to show you this afternoon, where there's a couple of guards there. If you attack them and kill them, then they won't respawn.